Why you? I thought you was upstairs. Why the hell you in here? Why? Why?
Trying to see what y'all do.
Grown up stuff. Your kids. Why you here?
Yo, who that?
It ain't your mama. I know that.
Ain't yours either.
Man, look. Man, look, take this bread. Skedaddle.
This ain't enough to get some damn Chipotle.
How much Chipotle you want? You want Chipotle or Chipotle? I give you enough to give you McDonald's. Do you want all of this or you just want $100?
I want all that.
And if I give you all this, you gonna get the food.
Hell yeah, just give me the money, man.
Man, bye. See you later.
Bye, boo.
Yeah, boo, you need to go get a haircut. Take that mother, get a haircut. Get up out of here.
Yo, I'm going renegade. You know what I'm aiming for. That 48 years old is a must. We settle the score. This not folklore. This the true science. Not fiction, straight facts. And I'm part of the alliance. No longer in silence. Yeah, we bypassing the blinders. Grinding for the knowledge. If you seek, then you spy it. I put them demons on a whole crash course diet. They was feeding off my aura till I woke up defiant. Been that. Took the obstacles. Had to spin that. Battlefield of the mind. Why lose when I could win that? Begin that journey to better my whole steeds. Gotta believe till I can split the bread in threes like a Kit Kat. What you getting at? Coming at me with some okie doke. Hit the truth in plain sight. Saw it, no kaleidoscope. Unconventional, I'm original. When I'm breaking out the same old karma till it's tenfold.
And my phone going off. See, you taking a long time to count this
phone
bread.
not my problem. That phone not my problem. That phone, that's your problem.
Once
you know what I'm saying? But
I
wait a
can take
minute.
my little brother where he need to go. Because he be bugging.
This looking a little short though.
How much is a little
You know
short?
that, right?
How much is a little short?
Just a few dollars, which I actually do need.
$2?
Yes.
$2 is like $10.
Man, nobody cares when you going live. Even if you on live with one of your top 5 MCs. Frankly speaking, I don't give two shits. 90s Vic, I had to curse to get my point across. Some of y'all got lost in the transition. No pot to piss in, no winner to throw it out of. Cause the fuzz be tapping my phone lines. Driving dirty with no license, followed by one time. Pull over, now you walking the fine line. Love is green, show that fat like 2 dimes. Where's my lighter? Look on the brighter things. He could've dished you on live. Goofy face was the door prize. Eyes wide open. Eyes wide open. Eyes wide open. Eyes wide open. 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 Open. Ray Charles Prodigy rap.
Reagan era turned Chocolate City to the drug game. Crack rock white. Reagan era turned Chocolate City to the drug game. Crack rock white. Reagan era.
I'm a 70s baby, raised in the 80s mama. Heard Reagan speak on the Iran and Contra drama. Grannies praying to the Lord, hoping my mom's comes home safe and don't end up in the morgue. DC drug warlords, smorgasbord, fork in the road, all you can eat. City never sleeps till the street lights come on and fiends run like roaches. Hoping, scoping for the next crumb to jump on. Fiends in the 80s, raised crack babies, moved in with granny. Life wasn't fancy, still had bread in the pantry, making miracles out of nothing to provide something. Red-headed youngin', Washingtonian native, pops never made it. Mom's still here though, second generation. I respect that, like being young, black and gifted. Rosalie taught me that. On any given Sunday, find me in the church playing drums for the choir. I'm inspired to never run with the bad boys in the neighborhood or I will expire. Coke supplier, burn by the fire, reach higher, designer clothes, dream deferred, burn a hole in your nose, life blows. Curtis, eating church's chicken, Gino's finger licking, getting whoopers in public.
Reagan era turned Chocolate City to the drug game. Crack rock white. Reagan era turned Chocolate City to the drug game. Crack rock white. Reagan.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace, peace, y'all.
Hey, sis. Peace and blessings. Look, we
Peace. Happy to be
got an
here.
extra person here.
Yeah. Who's this guy down here?
I don't know. I should remove myself so I could come back on.
Are you, sir? No, peace and blessings. Seeds of the Sun podcast has started. This is Foxy Roxy and your girl.
Sunshine Monet L.
And we have a special guest today who is already here. He didn't even just slide in the motherfucking building. He was already in the building.
Right. Pull up on us. I love it here.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do this like this. Welcome to Seeds of the Sun podcast, y'all. This is Foxy Roxy.
And Sunshine Monet L.
And it is a wonderful Saturday. I hope y'all doing good. Welcome, welcome. So we do have a special guest backstage. He was front stage, now he's backstage, and we all starting over again. So let's get this party started. Y'all saw it in the beginning. We played a couple of videos from Enoch, 7th Prophet. We played Reagan era. And don't even get me lying about the first one because
the first one, that's my jam. That's the one I'll be requesting, like, yo, let me hear that.
Yes, it is. Oh my God. Yeah, she'd be like, make sure you play that joke. So without further ado, we'll bring Enoch back to the stage.
Yeah.
I love our producer.
Yes.
He's so dope.
Peace.
He dropped bombs. Peace.
So, introduce yourself. Let the people know, who are you?
I am Enoch 7th. I'm Enoch 7th Prophet, Washington, D.C. I am a photographer, videographer, a creator. I am a dad. I'm a producer. I wear so many hats that, you know, I have that opportunity. When I have the opportunity, I can take them off and do something else with another type of hat on. So that's me in a nutshell as being like a creative spirit. So I wouldn't even call myself a hip hop artist. I'm just creative. That's why, as you see at the bottom, it says artist, Chakra Music. That's it. That's me.
Nice. I love it here. Tell us a little bit about the kind of music you create.
The kind of music that I create, I always tag it as chakra music because each song should be dealing with a certain level of like chakras, whether it's your root chakra or your higher chakra. I call it chakra music. So that's how I term it. It is hip hop music, but I like to term it as just more of a twist to it because it does give you, I do want to give out that information, but not be preachy. I do want to give out that preachy information, but I don't want it to be standoffish. So therefore I kind of manipulate certain things to get my point across. So I definitely call it chakra music, but for those who are in this world, you call it hip hop music. So I am what could be considered a hip hop artist.
But dope. So you say like you be trying to get points across. Let us know, what are some of the points? What are some of the statements in your mission statement when you create your music?
I think the points I try to get across is give you transparency within a rhyme or give you transparency within a song and making you feel it without you noticing that you're feeling what I'm saying. You may feel it later on. You may think about it later on. So that is the mission statement, is to actually, I heard Grand Poopa say this before. He said, they asked Grand Poopa, who is from Brand Nubians, they asked Grand Poopa, they said, how do you give back to the youth? He said, well, I give back through the knowledge of my raps. I said, yo, that's dope, because money can buy you any and everything, but people don't keep it for a very long time. And somewhere down the line, it will be useless. So giving the knowledge out in a rap can be, you can always go back to it and find something new and different for it, and it never gets old. You know what I mean? It's just basically, that's what I want to give out. I want to give out the knowledge and the information in songs and make them clever enough that young folks can be like, oh, yo, that's just dope. You could be 18, you could be 25, you could be 22, and still relate to any song when I bring that information to the forefront. So I had to learn that along the way too. I was like super spiritual, like super high up here, and people weren't catching on to it. So I had to bring it down, not dumb it down, but I had to bring it down enough so the audience that I wanted to reach, I can reach them and throw little gems in there. So that's the mission statement. It's to always stay dope, and that's the mission statement.
I love it. I'm here
Right.
for you. Got any questions, Foxy?
Nope. No, I'm just joking. So yeah. So if the audience does not know, first of all, we streaming on, I think, everybody's damn platform right now. We streaming live on Pronoia Star Seed Podcast, Seeds of the Sun. Enoch, I think you streaming live too. So we all got our live streams. So we don't know who's here, who's not. But if you don't know, I know Enoch Seventh Prophet forever. He was one of my first teachers. I tell people that all the time. He was one of the first people to introduce me to Mayat, to teach me about the feathers and all of that good stuff. And I was in my early 20s. I had a lot of questions. You know, a lot of shit was coming to me, and this is when I first started my awakening. So shout out to Enoch for being one of my first master teachers, who has continued to teach me even when I don't want to be taught. And so you and that sound effect is going to get me tonight. Okay. So yes, my question is going to be more. So I've been thinking, because I've actually interviewed Enoch several times on my platform, and also recently talking about his newest single and his upcoming EP, Nostalgia. So I don't even want to talk to you about none of that. I want to ask you a question that's nostalgic though. So I actually want to ask you a question and then ask Sunshine the same question, and I'll also answer it. But can you give me 3 things that you think of quickly that are nostalgic for you? 3 things that you remember that just stick out as nostalgic moments in your life, Enoch.
Playing marbles, riding in the backs, like in a pickup truck with my uncles and cousins when we're down south for the family reunion. That's like in a pickup truck they're on almost damn E, and they driving around and get to the gas station, and you only putting $10 in the gas pump. That's nostalgic. Playing marbles, as I mentioned before, that's nostalgic. The nostalgic thing that sticks out to me, the other thing that sticks out to me that's very nostalgic is being the only child and playing with these big couch pillows that I had on my bed and using them as wrestling men. I practicing my wrestling moves on them, creating a wrestling belt and all that other good stuff. So those particular things, those 3 things are very nostalgic to me, or for me.
Dope. What about you, Sunshine? Can you think of 3 memories that come to mind when you think of nostalgia?
Definitely the quarter ices, because my nana, my nana always been the neighborhood lady. She did the step teams, neighborhood watch, and she did the quarter ices. So the quarter ices that I never had to pay for, so I had unlimited access. My dad is a DJ. I remember Friday and Saturday nights, while he was getting ready for whatever event he was going to do. I just remember him having the turntables out and practicing and stuff like that every Friday, Saturday night. And, I love the way my dad cooked, because he one of the people that, like, he experiment with his food. He not, oh, this is the meat, the starch, the veggie. Nah, I'm about to make you some stir fry. I'm about to make you some shit you never had before. You heard me? So I remember Friday, Saturday night, like, that was my dad time. Like, I got to be around my dad. I got to, see him in his element with DJing and stuff like that. And my third memory, I would have to say the Easter egg hunts out in the projects were the best, because you find the egg and you open it and they have a number in there, and that number might be the number that matched that super soaker you've been looking at the whole fucking time. It was super soakers, money, little coupons for stuff, Easter basket. Like them Easter egg hunts used to be popping in the project. So shouts to Dulcie Gardens. Those are my three memories.
That's dope. Yeah, for me, I think my three memories, you brought one for me, is being about 6 or 7 years old and being at my grandfather's radio station. He had his own radio station, and my mother was a DJ there. And just sitting there, and the nostalgic moment was when my grandfather was actually on air. My grandfather, he used to get drunk and stay at the damn radio station, and they were in Alabama, okay, Montgomery, and this is back in the 80s. So it was a lot of racism and shit. And so there was a school bus that was on the property down there, and the KKK had come through and burned it while I was there, and that memory is embedded in my head. But the nostalgic moment was sitting there with my grandfather and him having us on the radio when I was a little kid. Just where am I gonna take y'all this week? And I'm like, to the circus. He like, no, to the damn zoo. Like, get it right. And I just remember being on the radio. He been like, you gotta get it right when you get on the radio. But that was a nostalgic moment. And also being in the juke joint. See, a lot of people don't remember stuff like this, but I lived again deep south, and my mom was a bartender also at a juke joint, and we lived in a dirt road juke joint, right? And so she didn't have no babysitter, and so we'd be down in the basement of the juke joint, and peeking up and watching grown folks grinding. They was just grinding and getting drunk. And we were like, ew, why they doing all of that? Why they so close? Look, he touching her butt. And my mom be like, get back downstairs. So I remember that. And my last nostalgic moment, I guess will still be in Alabama, is cow tipping. I used to go cow tipping in the middle of the night with my brother. Yes, we didn't have TV. So where we lived, we didn't have a TV. We lived off a dirt road. We lived in a shack. The lock was a latch on a wooden door. Okay, there was no the inside of the house. There was no inside. Each room was the inside, and you had wood stove. So at nighttime we'd be bored. And when the lights went out, you just had this kerosene lamp. So we didn't want to be in the house. So we'd be out there pushing the cows over while they were sleeping.
Oh man, that's cold blooded. I always wanted to go cow tipping though. I ain't gonna hold you. It looked like goofy fun.
It is. They be like, and you better run, because if they really wake up, you screwed. It's unexpected. But I used to crawl under the house and get eggs and shit, really country. But yeah, nostalgia.
Oh yeah, because chickens be hot for eggs.
Yep, and they be coming for you too. They ain't about that life. You ain't just gonna take my egg. So
nah, they coming for you all, guns are blazing.
Yep. So I just wanted to ask that question because I know you created that dope song, Nostalgia. I'm from the DMV, and the song gave me a lot of nostalgia, a lot of flashback memories, not necessarily from the DMV, but just being a child and just growing up and hearing all these different things about the DMV. So tell us about how it was growing up in DC. And I know that you grew up kind of in a family that was like a Christian family. And how is it that you got into chakra music instead of Jesus music? I want to know how we got here.
That's a good question.
That damn bomb. Look, time for the popcorn.
Well, I guess Nancy, and your first question was basically why. Okay, growing up in DC. So, once again, I was born and raised. I was born and raised in DC. My mom and my dad aren't Washingtonians. They're implants. So they migrated from the South to DC. So I'm the second generation when it comes to Washingtonians. At the age of probably 3 or 4, my grandmother at the time decided to move from DC because we were living uptown, 10th Street, Northwest, uptown. If you're familiar with the DC area, and from there on, my grandma decided to move from DC because it was a lot of things that she didn't like that was going on in the city at the time. And she was like, I guess she saw some certain things, and we moved. We moved from DC to Tacoma Park, Maryland. Tacoma Park is the home of Stephen Francis. If you know Stephen Francis, he played for Maryland Terps, he played for the Houston Rockets, and things of that nature. So growing up watching Steve Francis at the time, didn't know who he was, but knew that he was a popular guy in the neighborhood and watched him run up hills with big ass weights on his ankles. Living across the street from my actual elementary school that I was going to, and I was always late, even though it was right across the street from where I live. Growing up and during those times, it was more so, I was going to church every Sunday. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday nights, and sometimes we in church all day Sunday. So I was raised in a Christian household. My grandmother, sooner or later, she became a pastor of a church, and a small church as well. It was just more women in the church than men. So, you had a couple of young boys such as myself running around in there, but it was majority women in the church. So, being the pastor's grandson. Now, if people are listening, if you grew up in the church and you were a preacher's kid, then sometimes you had those special privileges, and then other times you couldn't have those special privileges just because you were who you were. Mm-hmm. So now, me being a pastor's grandson, I had special privileges, but I couldn't take all those special privileges because there were rules need to be set, and there were things need to happen so everyone can, so everyone can do what they needed to do. So growing up with my grandmother, raised in the church, Bible study, things of that nature. Then as I got older, I still kept those particular standards. I still understood them. You know what I mean? I still can relate to if someone talking about Jesus, if someone talking about church, I can still relate to it because I've been in that situation. I understand it. And my grandmother understood that there was a bigger picture than what we were looking at. She understood that Jesus was a black man. She understood that, Jesus was a revolutionary. She understood that Jesus did not sit down and take certain things. You know what I'm saying? She understood what he was about in that regards, because once again, these are old doctrines. These are things that she was raised up with, and then she taught me as well. As I got older, I had questions. As I got older, especially in high school, I was wearing in high school. Let's see, it was like between 89 and 94. We were wearing like black medallions, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King shirts, Harriet Tubman shirts, or Marcus Garvey or Haile Selassie. Like, it was all about Black power during that time. So if I come in the house with a black medallion on, my grandma be like, "Oh, you on that black stuff again? You on that black stuff again?" Like, she wanted to understand it. So then we started talking more about like Elijah Muhammad or Louis Farrakhan, and she loved Louis Farrakhan. She understood what he was about. There were certain things she was just like, "Oh, I don't know about that," but there were other things that she can relate to and agree to. And I think the moment that happened with me, that kind of switched me to do the chakra music thing, was basically understanding the concept in which when preachers are preaching and choirs are singing, how everybody else in the audience is acting. Mm-hmm. When the music is going, you get more praise dancing. You get more dancing when the music is going. When the music is stopped, you get more people at a standstill, like, we hear what you're saying, but we need that music to drive whatever this spirit is. And, that's where you get the shouting and all that other stuff, right? So I understood that because I was a musician. I've been playing the drums since the age of 5. So I understood that process. So I just carried what I understood into like the hip hop world. My mother, she sung backup for Johnny Gill in a group called Linda Gore and not Linda Gore and the Gospel Spiritualette. She was a part of that group, but I was the drummer of that group as well. But my mom sung background vocals for Johnny Gill because he was in the gospel realm. So I just took everything that I saw and mashed it up and brought it into this hip hop thing because it was something extra special that a lot of artists can't do. So they can't bring that preaching energy and keep it at that level and still stay hip hop. You know what I mean? So for me, I just created a challenge for myself, and I call it chakra music. So, it's just each preacher, each tone, each music in the church service is dealing with different tones in your body. It's different with different chakras. When you go to a funeral and you hear the organ playing, you only cry because the organ is playing. That's why you crying. It's not the service. It's not the loved one who has passed away. It's the organ. So when I did a poem for my uncle who passed away a couple of years ago, and I told the organist to stop playing the organ, because I don't want to cry, because that's what the organ is going to make you do. I want people to hear the words and what I was saying. So that's how kind of chakra music kind of came into fruition, because I wanted to touch each and everybody's chakras, no matter what type of music or vibration it was or is.
I love that. Especially like taking this space and time to like teach certain knowledge to our elders, because it's like the baton being passed on. We get the baton, we gotta keep running forward, instead of having that space where it's like, oh, we're gonna be stagnant, we just gonna keep doing what they doing back here.
Right.
Like, nah, I'm gonna look back, Sankofa vibes. I'm looking back, I'm telling my elders what I'm about to do, but I'm gonna keep moving forward in my movement. So that's cool for you to take church music to that next level.
Absolutely, because my grandmother at one point wanted me to teach Sunday school. She felt like I could be an influence. She felt like, you should be the next pastor of this church when I pass away, and things of that nature. So there's certain things that our parents want for us that may be a heavy load for us, and that's not our focus, or that's not our path. You know what I mean? But we still take that energy, that I would say I still took that energy, that preaching energy or that message energy, and still put it in my music. I'm doing it the same. I'm doing it differently than what she would probably expect it. But she saw me perform once and she said, man, boy, you good. You got to keep doing that. Okay. Ain't no stopping that. Once grandma say, hey, boy, that's good. Keep doing it.
That's it.
Nobody else can tell me shit. Like, grandma said it's dope, so I'm going to keep doing it. Right. My mom is the same way. So I think that's what it is. It's just basically that energy that I have created, that I can spit out at any time and just keep it moving.
That's beautiful. So how has your journey in music, like, okay, you got your voice now, what kind of music you want to do and stuff like that. How have you been received with making the kind of music that you make, between back then? I'm making an assumption here, because in my nostalgic realm, because I was raised by the DJ that played, Talib Kweli and Mos Def and Common and, these different artists, KRS-One and Wu-Tang and stuff. So in my mind, those were the artists that was like mainstream to me. But I don't know. I mean, I'm younger than y'all. So how was that journey, being in those spaces and rapping how you rap versus like what everyone else is doing between then and now?
Yo, that's a great question, because I had a DJ friend. His name was Winston. We called him Bamboo because he was a DJ. Me and him was in a group together. And if I wanted to listen to hip hop or any secular music, I had to go to his house and listen to what you described. Like, listen to like the old stuff, listen to Sade, listening to the Commodores. I was raised by listening to Commodores and all that good stuff. For my mom, like the TK disco, like listening to all that while she cleaned up the house on vinyl. I was listening to that, Lionel Richie, all that good stuff. When I ended up moving with my grandma, man, it was the Clark sisters, it was Cleveland, it was the Winans, it was the Williams brothers, it was Shirley Caesar, it was, the list goes on. And I was like, damn, it's a different world, right? So I got introduced to hip hop, I would say, through my friend Winston, because there was a song called my first record that I had was KRS-One, Boogie Down Productions, Jimmy. The J, the I, the M, the M, the Y, the J, the I, the M is Jimmy. And I had to realize what he was talking about. He was talking about how to wear a condom and have protective sex during those times because AIDS was high.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote a song called Jimmy, right? So listen to how he kind of construct that beat or that song. I was like, wow, that's dope. So that's basically how I got into that field. So my voice was basically studying those who came before me and trying to figure out where my voice is. I don't want to sound like KRS-One. I don't want to sound like Redhead Kingpin, because people used to call me Redhead Kingpin because I had red hair. For those who don't know who Redhead Kingpin is, you go look it up. It's Redhead Kingpin or Heavy D and the Boys, things of that nature. So my grandmother would always say, if I'm listening to the radio and I'm singing along or I'm singing a song with someone, she said, sing it just like them. Don't sing it like them, but hit the same note that they hit. Add your own flair to it. And that's what I started doing. I started just writing rhymes and trying to find my voice. And I think I found my voice, I would say 95, 96. I've been writing rhymes since 89. But I think I found my voice in 96 when I know what I wanted to talk about. Like, I know I had to put a message out there because of what my grandmother always instilled in me. Anytime you open your mouth, you got to have a message, at least. If someone comes to ask you for help, give them help if you can. Like, if, say, for instance, if Sunshine, writes a song, and she said, "Hey, Enoch, what you think about the song?" And I give her a breakdown version of what I feel about it, then my other option or my other way is to help build the song now. Hey, do this and do that. Don't just tear the song down and leave you standing there. So that's what happened. I just deconstructed myself and found a way to make my voice heard. And I think I did that probably around 96 when I found out, wow, this is what I want to talk about. Because, just don't rap, say something. And that's what that concept is.
Ooh. Do you feel like it's more difficult to say something now?
Nah, say what the hell you want to say. You independent artist. You ain't got nothing to lose but memory, number one. You ain't got nothing to lose but your MP3 files that gets corrupt. You have nothing to lose in this industry. You can say whatever the hell you want to say, but whatever you say, understand it's maybe some backlash to it, no matter what it is. Whatever you say, people are not going to agree with you. But if you say it and mean it, and it's true for you, then say it. Like, I wrote a song talking about a situation that happened to me, a wrongful situation that happened to me. I wrote the song and I put everybody's name in that shit. First and last name. I posted it and I got the hell feedback because now I was considered wrong for doing it, speaking my truth about it, right? But don't worry, I still got the song. It's still in the vault. I took it down, but it's still in the vault. So my thing is, anything that happens to me, best believe it's going to come out in a song. Maybe not now, maybe not 10 years from now, but it may surface if I allow that moment to happen. So I think I got better with time because now I could tell my truth. I can tell stories in a form of how I see it. So I think that's how I evolved as an artist. And I really don't pay too much attention to other artists. And I think that's one thing that kind of saves me mentally because I don't pay attention to a lot of other artists either. No disrespect to them.
That's that Leo shit, man. We ain't looking at nobody. I'm a Leo rising. And I had told Roxy, what was this last episode? I'm like, sis, when you started playing all them other healing artists, I was like, what the fuck is this, bro? These niggas suck. But there's no shade, but a little bit of shade. But it just made me feel better. Like this. This is why I listen to me. I'm on my alarm clock in the morning. My 5 top is sunshine, 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 sunshine. Right. And we gonna put Enoch on the 6. You feel me? Like, nah.
You know, I have my days. I listen to other artists, but I don't focus on other artists. That's the thing. I listen to other artists, but I don't focus on them. If someone asks me, yeah, I see you doing the show in New Mexico, like who's all on the bill? I'm on there. I know what I got to do when I get there.
I don't know niggas.
I know the job I have to do when I get there. Yeah, I may know who's on the bill, but I'm not focused on who's on the bill, because if I'm too focused on that, I'm gonna lose focus on my show. My job is to rip the whole stage up, and whoever else comes behind me is gonna be some issues. So that's how I look at it.
Cool. So what do you do to prepare yourself for a performance? Like, okay, because you know, it's one thing to make good music. We love good music, but as you can see lately, the good music part is questionable. But say, you know, it's songs out here and they nice, but then when you go to see them perform, it's like, what the fuck am I watching? So what can we expect when we know Enoch is going to be on the stage?
You can expect Enoch not to rhyme over his vocals. You can definitely expect that. You can expect Enoch not to rhyme over his vocals. You can definitely expect that, number one. Number two, you can expect to have a good time, because once again, I'm bringing my church response and call and response vibe to a show. It's always going to be that call and response vibe to a show. I'm going to be very interactive, because that's how my grandmother was preaching her sermon. She was very interactive. She'd step off the podium, or she'd step off the pulpit and come down to the audience and talk to the people, or sit down beside them. And she was very personable within her, I would say, performance, because she's preaching. She is making sure people are paying attention. If they're not paying attention, she comes straight to you. If you're doing something and you're not paying attention, she comes straight to you and start talking. And that's how sometimes I do my performances, because I want to grab the ear of the listener, and I want to grab the eye of the watcher. And it's all about me, because if you didn't come and see me or not, it's the time to see me. And that's the energy that I bring. It's no like I'm dope as shit, nobody can. No, it's more so I'm confident enough in my performance, no matter who you put me on the bill with, and I know why I'm there. I know what the mission is. So to get prepared, I don't listen to no hip hop. I listen to jazz, listen to some gospel, I listen to sometimes silence, to get me mentally prepared for the show, because I don't want no other influence to get in the way of what I got to do. So I listen to jazz, I listen to R&B, I listen to love music, I listen to like things that are not hip hop. So
I like that. For me, sometimes it depends. Sometimes I'll be Sons of Kemet is my go-to, because it's upbeat jazz. I love that. Or I ain't gonna hold you, like that whole realm of Gucci Mane and the people he be signing and doing songs with. I'll go to them, because that music has absolutely nothing to do with the kind of music I make. It's just a bop to get my energy, like, yeah. So but like, I totally feel you on that. Like, yo, you came, this is my time on the stage, you know, this is what I'm finna do. And I have, you know, I think that is dope that you perform your music like a sermon, because that's what it is. Like, you know, that's what you're doing. You know, the whole point of a sermon is to, like, I'm here to invoke your spirit. I'm here to assist your Kundalini rising. You know, my lyrics are supposed to be healing. So I'm going to embody that whole, like, I am the healer on this mic, you know, this mic is a tool so you can hear me, but my body is the source. So I got to do what I got to do. You know what I mean? I like that. I really like that a lot. Definitely want to see you live now. Because he said he don't rap over his lyrics, y'all. You ain't got to worry about him rapping off because he can't hear his lyrics. So he echo to his own shit. Ain't none of that happening.
Ain't nothing.
I swear that drives me nuts. Or seeing performers perform when they high and drunk, that drives me nuts. I'm always sober on the stage. I will smoke when I'm done. I will, you know, take a shot when I'm done. But that whole being intoxicated while you're on stage is so wild and unprofessional to me.
It is very much so. Yeah, to each his own, because I know brothers and sisters who just, they gotta be a certain way to get their point across, like I have. Yeah, there's certain rituals that we do before we get on stage. We can do the ritual, we can do the rituals before, or we can do the rituals after. But during that whole day, I'm still going through my ritual moment because I want to be mentally and spiritually ready. Like I would say this, when I have a show to do, for instance, if I had a show to do in Chicago, which I do in May. So if I have a show to do in Chicago, 2 weeks prior to me going to Chicago, I send my spirit man to Chicago. If I've never been, I send him there and let him walk around and fill the place out. And then we come back with information, right? So when I get to Chicago, it feels like I already been there. I've been there before. That's why when I go to places I've never been before, I end up in the hood, or I end up just walking down the street like I live there. Because I set my intentions, I do my rituals, I do all of that good stuff to make sure that the vibe is good when I get there. So those are other things that I do to prepare myself for a show. Whether if I'm on stage 10 minutes or an hour, it's a preparation for it. But after that show, I'm tired. I'm ready to go sit down somewhere and call it a night.
Word. I love that. So you got this song Nostalgia. Why nostalgia and why now?
You know what? Why not? Because we are all nostalgic and we are all nostalgia. The clothes you wear right now is nostalgic to what someone wore in the 80s or 90s. Your hairstyle is nostalgic because it goes back to, the days of when your hair was matted. So it holds memory. It holds a lot of memory back there. And nostalgic is something that's relatable across the board. That 2-finger ring that you have on is nostalgic. Because we wore 2-finger rings. That now you brought it back to the 2000s. Okay, now that's a conversation, no matter how young or old you are. I know we were on, Foxy was asking me the same question, and now we still had that conversation of what nostalgic is. So I did nostalgia because DC needs to remember their history, whether it's with the music, whether it's with the drama, whether it's with the violence, whether it's with the non-violence. This city holds a lot of history. And some of our historians are now dead.
Music lives.
Music lives on. It lives on, and it transcends culture and age. So why not do nostalgia now?
Hey, for sure. So right now we actually have nostalgia. For those who have not heard it, we're gonna play that for you right now. It's Enoch 7th Prophet Nostalgia here on Do the Knowledge Radio, Seeds of the Sun podcast, y'all.
Hey.
Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Magic. I'm gonna make the magic drink in my mouth. Nostalgia.
Chakra music.
We get them silent, standing on the corner at 5 o'clock in the AM. Rest in peace to Big Lil, we still Section 8 mobbing in front of the shrimp boat. Tim's on and Eddie Bowers, thinking we were Rayful Edmonds at an early age. On a smaller stage, we've been paid in full. We got receipts for those hustlers at the Go-Go's in the black hole. City as the backdrop and taking photos like hot sport teeth, gold chains and bucket hats from the Madness shop. DC, free nostalgia. DC, slouch socks and new bees. Tips with the light phase. DC, Chuck Brown, blasting on the radio. D stories being told about crime in the city. 7 on your side, Paul Berry. Wayne Perry's name ring out. Pig Latin on landlines, we're speaking on drug ties. Nation's capital, home of the law and inmates. My pop had a bed there. Heck of Jamal be pumping out here, Joe. Half of a hole. Benny Lawson was cold, never was a snitch. Ran up in the district and blah, 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 blah. DC's. DC's, slouch socks and new bees, tips with the light phase. DC's, slouch socks and new bees. DC's, slouch socks and new bees. DC's, slouch socks and new bees, tips with the light phase. DC's, slouch socks and new bees. Chuck Brown, blasting on the radio. DC's.
Very, very nostalgic. Yes, yes. That was Nostalgia by Enoch, Seventh Prophet. Rest in peace to Black Indian. What a dope song. Again, I'm from the DMV area, so I can really appreciate it. But again, it's just like you captured so much in such a short period of time, which is something that you are good at doing. I feel like you always hit, like, you know, you hear people and they throw them one verse and you be like, damn, that verse was dope. And then that's all they get. That's it with Enoch Seventh Prophet, like a minute of your time or just a minute. Everything's been a minute. And I know we talked about this before. Nostalgia is very nostalgic. You know, there won't be a second verse. There will be no more. That is it. Is there nostalgia too? What's going on with that? You think about doing it with a go-go band? What's up with that?
Well, nostalgic is what it is. That's the verse. I gave you 2 verses. Gave you 2 verses on nostalgia. I would definitely love to do it with a go-go band because it's a pocket. That whole beat is in the pocket. Like the whole go-go band can play that joint and everything is in the pocket. So I can definitely do that. Definitely the song will probably be extended if it's a go-go band, especially if we do it live. So you know, there's so many ways we can manipulate nostalgia, the song, but it's only 2 verses. You are getting an EP coming with that. So that is the single off the EP, and that is the EP called Nostalgia. So everything that I'm going to be talking about on that EP, Nostalgia, will be nostalgic. I have a song on the EP called Frankie Beverly. Everybody in DC would be like, yo, we always thought Frankie Beverly was from DC. And it's like, no, you're not, right? You're not from here, but we claim him as our own. So therefore,
before I let go.
Yeah, see? So that is an EP. So you definitely will be hearing more of that EP soon.
So that's another EP, but right now you have an EP out called Just a Minute, and it just came out. Yes, Sunshine, it came out on 4/4, the day that we did the very last curation of Nostalgia. And so on this EP, how many songs are on this new EP?
4.
Okay. You like this number? Okay. So you have 4 songs. I know, like one of the reels we did for this show, we used Thelma, one of my favorites. Loved it. So Thelma, tell us about, because now that they out, we could get into that too. You know, I love nostalgia. I talked about it a lot, but I want to kind of get into the new EP that you have out right now called Just a Minute. Yes, thank you, producer.
Boom, so, there you go.
Yeah, you got the song Thelma. I think it's really dope. Tell us the concept behind Thelma. If y'all didn't grow up like I grew up in the 80s, you know, we watched Good Times, you know, so it was very nostalgic. Again, this could have went on nostalgia. I'm just going to tell you, this could have went on nostalgic because Thelma is very nostalgic.
Right. And you know, the breadcrumbs are leading up to what it is, because nostalgia and Just a Minute is still that album cover or that EP cover is nostalgic within itself because that's Mr. T,
Right.
right? So even the song Thelma is nostalgic because it's Thelma from Good Times. Like, if you never watched Good Times before, I don't know what's going on in your world and your black life of living, but
Right.
there's an echo. Is that me? Oh, okay.
I don't hear
So
it.
it might be me. It might be my headset, but I'll turn off my headset now actually. Um so with that particular song Thelma, I named it Thelma because as a young kid growing up, we had a crush on Thelma. Thelma was fine. Thelma is fine, but he was fine on a good time. She never wore the same gear twice. I watched all the episodes, and Thelma didn't really have on the same gear twice. Now JJ did, and everybody else did, but not Thelma. Thelma was our first heartthrob when it came to being a heartthrob sensation within the black TV realm, right? And I called it Thelma because writing that song, it was basically talking about how, playing the goose gander thing, meaning tit for tat and or chasing each other, right? So on that whole concept of Thelma, I wanted to circle it around back to Thelma being trying to get engaged or being in love with an African prince. His name was eBay, right? If you watch Good Times, that's the episode that this was the first time on television that you've seen a black an African actor, dark skin, right? You didn't see him no more. You saw him one time and that was it. It was two parts to that episode. So Thelma changed her whole life for this guy. She got an African name. She got an African hairstyle. She was wearing the African garb. She was trying to get into that culture, but Michael told her, Thelma, eBay has more than one wife. She didn't believe him until they sat down in a circle eating food, and then eBay started talking to her, saying, "Hey, mommy already believed it, but mom was like, so eBay, would Thelma be the only wife for you?" "Oh, Thelma is my only wife. I love her. She'd be the only woman for me." "Well, the culture says that you can have two or more wives." He didn't say nothing because he didn't want to give up his culture for Thelma, but he wanted Thelma to come with him to be a part of his culture, but he didn't understand the dynamics of her culture. Being raised in the projects, two-parent home. You can't have two wives. It's just got to be me because I was raised with my mom and dad. He, on the other hand, came from somewhere else. So when I said, good for the goose, we sit around in a circle playing duck, duck, geese in a childish fashion. He knows who he wants to pick, but she refused to chase him. Old chicken head, prepared. I said, old chicken head, fed GMO foods. Why do fools fall in love and never get back up? Because they traumatized, right? And then project their fear on us. What's love got to do if you anime, Ike? Ain't no rules to this shit. A step-by-step booklet you're never going to get, even if you were Thelma's African fiance, eBay. So Thelma is nostalgic because I put Tina Turner in it. Now, what's love got to do if you anime, Ike? If the roles were reversed and Tina is beating Ike's ass, what's love got to do if you anime, Ike? Ain't no rules to this shit. So love ain't got nothing to do with that shit if you getting your ass beat. But Thelma understood at the end of that movie, at the end of that episode, Thelma walked out. She walked away from eBay. Good for the goose. Go for the gander type of thing. So that's why that song hit so hard. And I got my brother Scratch from the Roots to do some vocal scratching on it. So I hit up Scratch and I said, hey man, you know, boom, 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 boom. He sent the stuff over and the rest is history. So it's nostalgic within itself because I grew up on the Roots. I saw the Roots perform live. I saw DJ Scratch, not DJ Scratch, but Scratch from the Roots do his thing on stage. And now getting to meet him and talk to him and we cool and have conversation, that's nostalgic within itself. That's why he's on Thelma. And I named it Thelma because the Thelma is nostalgic and it's an eye catcher. So that's why.
Yeah. Yes. Shout out to everybody in the comments. And yeah,
that one is ridiculous. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I like that.
Knowledge has posted where you can stream. Make sure you first buy it, then you stream it. Okay, buy it first. So I always want y'all to know that we need to be supporting each other always. You know what I'm saying? We go out here and rush and get shit that don't even feed our soul. This music is dope. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm a fan first. I'm a friend second. I was a fan when I heard the music. I was just like, yo, this is some dope ass shit. Just like with Sunshine, I'm a fan. You know, like when I met Sunshine, I met her by bringing her onto my show because I was a fan first, a friend. Now I'm like, that's my bestie. But before it's really about like, I love shit that touch your soul and really hit you in a certain place. And I know that like, again, just a minute, there's another song and I'm pass the baton to my sister real quick. But the next song I wanted you to tell me a little bit about was Witness. Can you let me know about Witness? I like that song. My favorite joint is like you just explain it because you're gonna end up rapping it for us. I mean, I see that that energy. We tend to bring that energy out where you just want to, you know, give us a virtual performance, and I'm all here for it. You know what I'm saying? We are here on Pranoia. We on everybody platform, so we here for the performance.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
I'm just saying. And I mean, since we here, and you know, not everybody has heard your album, you know, not everybody has heard it because it's brand new. If you want to tell us a little bit about Witness and maybe, you know, give us a couple of bars, you know what I'm saying? That'd be dope.
How the fuck you throwing stones when you live in a glass house? Burnt all the bridges, now you suckers is assed out. That's the first bar of Witness that Simone Marie said, right? That whole concept was basically, let me tell y'all this. I've been sitting on that record for like 2 years. It's supposed to came out on another project that I did, but it never, I guess I was just holding it. And when I sent her the record, she's from DC, sent her the record, she killed it. She murdered that part, that verse. And I just came in just to accent it. I didn't want to overshadow anyone because if you're a feature on my record, you're the feature on it. Get your man. I don't care. But I am going to accommodate what you're saying. I'm not going to give you no lackluster bars either. But you're the feature, so have at it, right? So Witness was first of all, it was called Can I Get a Witness? That was the name of the first. That was the first name. And then we was in the studio with Judah, big up to Judah, who actually mixed and mastered this record or this album or this EP. He chopped it and called it Witness. I don't know if he did it on purpose or just something that he can remember, like this is what it is. And I just left it at Witness, right? Man, listen, the mission to overthrow the opposition, right? So when I said the mission is to overthrow the opposition, ghosting appearing when they have to. Rhythm is the slave, I'm the master, and I choreograph the after. My pops on heart makes me the heir to the throne, king me, crown chakra. I got the juice, Q, come follow me. Chi Ali style, shoot your whole flow up. I'm sick and tired. That's what all, and that is basically the verse. Now, if you know who Chi Ali is, you know Chi Ali has some issues with the gun shooting. It's all nostalgia. I said to I brought my dad up in it as well, right? You know, choreographed it after my pop's own heart. Makes me the heir to the throne, king me, crown chakra. I got the juice now. My dad didn't crown me the king. I'm the only son left. So guess what? That lineage comes down to me. So with nostalgia, I mean with witness, that was the opposition. It's to throw everybody off a little bit. You know, hearing a voice you probably never heard before, or listening to the verse and you're like, yo, Shorty is dope. And I just had to match her energy and do the best I can with that whole concept. So I love that. I love that song, and I do have a video in mind for it. So yeah, you know, we just gonna keep it pushing, man. That's all we can do.
Yeah, her energy is very strong on that joint. Like she come in like, what the who the fuck? Okay, she sound like she on a trampoline. Like she just really like energized. I could just see her like, and that's dope. I like the song. I like that it's like the first one on the album. Like it just hits you like bam. Okay, okay, that's what we're doing. Yeah, but I think it's really dope. Again, if y'all haven't, you know, purchased it for one and then streamed it, Knowledge has put the stream information right there in the comments, so check it out. It is called Just a Minute by Enoch 7 Prophet. Let me see if my sister got some questions for you. She be having her questions lined up, y'all. She be ready to shoot fire.
Pow, 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 pow.
Oh, yeah, I'm fanning over here. Like I'm a fan, so you know.
I told him he don't be listening. He don't listen to me. I told him that you a fan, like for real in real life, right?
Like, yeah, like I always, you know, when I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna interview all the artists that I like. Like, you know, I always I'm living my childhood dreams, you know, being on stage, being on podcasts, going to shows, and all. Like this, you know, granted, I thought the money was different, but the experiences is abundant, you know.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
They got me on the money part. Y'all marketed that real well. But yeah, like I'm fanning over here, you know. So you do be having features on your show. So I guess my next question is, when can we hear Sunshine Monet L and Enoch 7 Prophet on a joint? Like, when is that going to be? Like a summertime? Is that going to be a wintertime joint? Like, you know, what's your plans for that? You know.
I like that question. I will say this, and I would say this. I was interviewed by Gorgonus and his wife Jay Robinson, and Jay Robinson asked Gorgonus, anything you want to ask Enoch, you know, he's here, you know, and Enoch, you know, he was like, I'm a fan, I really love blah blah blah, and I was like, oh, that's cool. He was like, so can we do a record together? And I was like, hell yeah, let's make it happen. We did a record together, so I'm saying that to you, Sunshine. Let's make the record happen, right? I got beats. Let's make the record happen. If you have,
I'm gonna need my 10%. I'm gonna need my points. Show me the money. No,
so, yeah, we could definitely do that. If you have a place to record, you know what I'm saying, that's cool too. If not, we can still make it work. So yeah, you know, it is what it is, and let's make it happen. So I'll send you like 2 or 3 joints. Let me know which one you feeling, and we'll go after that. We'll go off that.
So yeah, I'm gonna need my finder's fees, but y'all gonna keep playing me like y'all don't hear me, but it's all good. Let's see here what we got going on in the comments. Yes, let's hear that collab. That's right. Yes, let's hear it and drop that money in Roxy's Cash App. All right. I love it. I always said that shit. I already, man, see, he the prophet, but I'm the prophet for real. I already put that shit together. I had said that. I had said y'all need to be shooting videos. It's all about collaboration over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, now I want the audience to know that we all 3 have separate platforms. So again, you can catch me on Pronoia Star Seed. Enoch has his own platform. He also does a podcast. He also does a freaking live podcast every Sunday as well. And Sunshine has her own. So Enoch, let the people know where they can find you and your podcast, aside from the music, what all the other things you do. Let the people know where they can find you.
Enoch 7 Prophet, all platforms. Twitter is E7th P on Twitter. You can find me every Sunday on Mental Salvation Radio, which is on Instagram, where I interviewed or talked to the entrepreneurial spirit of the Black woman. No matter yoga instructor, mom, president, CEO, no matter who you are, you do have an entrepreneurial spirit of yourself. So I do that on Sundays. I also have a podcast called Mental Salvation Radio, where I just do a lot of storytelling about my life, do some storytelling, play great music. I play independent records. I play mainstream records. Sometimes I even just stay nostalgia and play records that my mom, or music that my mom used to play cleaning up in the house. I just play that and talk about, when it comes to this interviewing thing, when it comes to this podcast, everything is kind of like free flowing for me. I don't really have anything written down. I just go with the emotion of it. So I've been doing podcasting since 2005. I've been doing the Salvation Sundays for going on 3 years now. And I've interviewed Sunshine Monet L. I've talked to Foxy Roxy. I've talked to a lot of influential Black women in this culture, no matter if it's hip hop, R&B, whatever culture, whatever subculture you're in, I have interviewed that person as well. So you can find me on Enoch 7 Prophet on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter Space. You can find me right here on YouTube under Enoch 7 Prophet. And yeah, that's the vibe, And I'm definitely gonna send Sunshine 4 joints. And Sunshine, I want Sunshine to write to all 4 joints. When you write to all 4 joints, then I'll write to those particular joints, and we can put this EP out. We can call it Sunshine something. We can call it something dealing with sun. We can call it Sunship, or we can call it Sun. You can call it Sunshine Prophets. We'll figure out a name. We ain't gonna get too much. We ain't gonna get too much away.
The 7th Son.
We're gonna call it Foxy 10%. Okay, that's what we're gonna call it. Okay, let's see here. All right, so we have a request, and I'm gonna tell y'all, I can't be on for all night, but y'all keep going in a little bit. I gotta get ready to go because my kitties keep messing with me. I have to cut my camera off. But yes, I will have a request for you, Enoch, because people want to know. They want you to break down for us the Long Axe joint. For one, that's a dope ass song. Love it. My sister Terry Ann is in the video. We got that video. I believe we got that video here. Shoot, let me just check because I got a lot going on now. Y'all see my thumbs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Seeds of the Sun Prophets. Okay, there we go. Okay, knowledge. All right. So can you explain Long X for us? And I don't know if Knowledge is trying to drop that joint because he will drop a video in the middle of your words real quick. He'd be like, yeah, that's what we're doing. Boom, boom. So if that's what you're gonna do, Knowledge, go ahead and do it. Then we can break down video. If not, we're gonna keep on moving because
Slowly cooking this vegan stew. Stovetop stuff a sweet potato in the oven. Nag champa burning and blending with the sour diesel. On the strength, I swarm like a killer bee do. Lead my vote. Shot the FBI in broad daylight. From the backseat of the trunk in the blue Caprice. Terrorizing the neighborhood, but never my hood. Food for thought, clean your plate up. Get your weight up, raise the bar. Gym rat, cheese face, Mighty Mouse syndrome. Speedy Gonzales, hola, former star. Guys were made in the belly of the Amistad. Yemen Ya, goddess of the ocean. Love the babies, lyrical potion, call me Dr. Sadie. Detox from that shitty hip hop. Drink Sanity, slowly cooking this vegan stew. Sweet potato in the oven, nag champa burning, blended with the sour diesel on the strength. I swarm like a killer bee do.
All right. Really? I think Knowledge approves of the song.
I love it.
Okay. Can you please break down long X twice? Long X, not X. X.
Slowly cooking this vegan stew. Stovetop stuffing sweet potato in the oven. Nag champa burning and blending with the sour diesel. On the strength, I swarm like a killer bee do. Leave my vote. Shot of FBI in broad daylight. From the backseat of a trunk in a blue Caprice. Terrorizing the neighborhood, but never my hood. Food for thought. Clean your plate up. Get your weight up. Raise the bar. Gym rat. Cheese face. Mighty Mouse syndrome. Speedy guns Alice. Hola. Como esta? Gods were made in the belly of the Amistad. Yemen Yah. Goddess of enlightenment. So breaking that.
Wait a minute, before you break that down, why you gotta always go to the murders in DC? I mean, Lee Malvo, you got the Benny run up in the police station. Everybody's popping on your songs. What's going on?
That's nostalgic because when Lee Malvo was on a rampage in DC, he didn't come to the hood. He stayed
terrorizing
in the
your hood, but never my hood.
Terrorizing your hood, but never my hood. Food for thought, clean your plate up. Get your weight up. Food for thought. Gym rat, cheese face, Mighty Mouse syndrome, Speedy guns Alice. Hola, como esta? God was made in the belly of the Amistad. Yemen Yah, goddess of enlightenment. So breaking that whole thing down, I named it Long Axe after a member of the group The Beggars. The Beggars were affiliated with the Wu affiliates. They did a song called On the Strength, right? My DJ, King C, was a part of that group. Long Axe is Digital Quan now. He was a part of Beggars. So I named it to pay homage to Long Axe because I love how he flowed. And I wanted to pay homage to the way he flowed, right? Very intricate. He's very intricate the way he flows. So I said, you know what? Let me merge the spirituality into this darkness of the song. So the first part of the video, you see me walking into that's my apartment when I was living in DC. Before I moved, it looked like a trap house. And I was like, oh, I like this feel. So as I walk through the door of my apartment, I'm welcoming people into my space. Persia Red, who is there, who's been on Pronoia Starseed podcast many of time doing tarot readings. I had her, she was actually doing readings, doing the video. That was not no play. It was not set up that way. That day that we did the video was the day of Ogun. So that's why she had on that black and red. Oh. And I was gonna wear a white t-shirt. And she was like, nah, Enoch, today's Sunday. Put on a black t-shirt. Boom, I put on the black t-shirt. So the vibe of it was basically merging the hip hop in a sense of now tarot readings. And that brought a different audience to the song because spiritualists was looking at the song. They were using it as yoga. They was using it as like meditative music. So Long Axe, it is what it is. And that song was in and out. And I was making some vegan stew that day, and I was baking a sweet potato, and I was smoking some sour diesel. So yeah, all that was true in that song. On the strength, I swarm like a killer bee do. So yeah, it's always it may be murders in bars here and there, but I'm not doing the murders. I'm just reporting what I see.
I know. I just noticed it. Like it was just like, okay, everybody just pop, and no, that's my. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I like the way that like when you talked about the Benny Lawson, then you broke it down for me because again, I grew up in DC, but it's actually probably 3 different generations right here. Like you got Sunshine, me, and then Enoch. So what I was watching with Enoch was what my aunt and them was doing. You know what I'm saying? So I was watching from a kid's point of view. I wasn't actually experiencing it. And even if you wasn't a drug dealer, you was closer to him than I was. But I was able to see it as a child sitting in the back seat watching my aunt boyfriends or whoever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I seen it from a different perspective. And then Sunshine, you in a whole nother generation. You know what I'm saying? You see things in a different perspective. So my question, because I want to keep shit light. Pop, a little. I want to keep it a little light. So, because we're dealing with 3 different generations, and Sunshine made it very clear she's a lot younger than us.
That's
she did say that shit. I'm giving her the side eye and shit. Like, don't be doing that to me, man. I love you. Do not do that to me. But okay, she is a little bit younger than us. A little bit, just okay. So we all grew up in a different again, nostalgic age. And I want to ask each one of you, starting with you, of course, Enoch. When you were a kid, what show did you watch when you ate your cereal in front of the TV?
The Flintstones.
That's a good one.
Bugs Bunny, Woody Woodpecker, and I love the hell out of Dukes of Hazzard. I watch it.
Now that's crazy. Like, when we watch Dukes of Hazzard now, and you see all that shit in there now, and you understand it now, it's totally different than when you was a kid. That was nostalgic. Now you see Daisy Dukes, and you see that redneck and all that shit that going on. It's totally different when you see that Confederate flag. But yeah, okay, I watched that. Not when I was a kid, but I did see it. What about you, Sunshine? What did you eat when you was eating your cereal, when you was sitting in front of the TV? What was you watching as a child?
Okay, so if I got up early enough, I could catch Garfield on a weekday for school. Dennis the Menace was a dope cartoon. Dragon Ball, of course, and Sailor Moon. But if it was a Saturday, Gargoyles, X-Men, and Animaniacs. Those are my go-tos.
Oh my God. Definitely a different generation when you just said, what was it? Taylor Moon or what was it?
Sailor Moon.
Oh my God. My daughter still likes that stuff right now.
Oh yeah, I got my kids watching it. Yeah, we watching Sailor Moon. Y'all. My son, he likes Felix the Cat. He like Betty Boop. He likes the black and white Looney Tunes. He don't really watch the Technicolor too much. I had bought all them DVDs. So like if he was sitting here, he'd probably be like, "Oh, I know what cartoons y'all talking about," because that's the stuff that he like. I swear he older than me. He a 22 life path. I'm an 11, so he's older than me.
Oh yeah, that's your granddaddy. That's your grandpa daddy right there. Okay. Yeah. So mine would be, I watched because I grew up with my brother when I was really little, and my 2 little cousins, which were boys. So I watched Transformers, G.I. Joe. I used to watch the Snorks and the Smurfs. Yes. And She-Ra was one of my favorites. And I'll tell you, this nostalgic moment was that I used to be on the bunk bed, and I remember my mom was on the bottom bunk and I was on the top bunk, and I was little. I don't know how old I was, but I fell off the bunk. And I didn't think I hurt. I think I was more shocked, right? But I was just like crying, and my mom was like, "Oh no, She-Ra, you jumped without swift wind." And I that was a nostalgic moment because I stopped crying. I started laughing because I was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't have my horse." And it was very nostalgic. So I grew up, with She-Ra and He-Man and all of that good shit. That's what I grew up, and I was pressed to watch it in my drawers in the morning while everybody was getting ready for school because I was younger than my brother, so I didn't have to go to school. I'd just be sitting there, waiting and eat my cereal. But I just asked because, again, Enoch's new song is called Nostalgia. It brings you back. It takes you back. You're from the DMV. It's going to definitely take you back to times, depending on what generation you in. It's going to take you back. I promise you. So make sure you tap in and listen to the new single by Enoch 7 Prophet called Nostalgia. Also, he has a new EP out right now called Just a Minute. Make sure you tap in. It is in the comments. Knowledge Born Allah has done us the wonderful favor of posting that for you to stream, but make sure you purchase it first. Make sure you support Enoch 7 Prophet. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, he has a line called Grandpa Daddy. He ain't even mentioned yet, but I tell you, Grandpa Daddy got more CDs and more DVDs and more songs than anybody I fucking know. If you go into your reels and put in Enoch 7 Prophet, you will not believe the amount of music that you will get. Like, I did not know he had that many songs. Like, dude, you started doing music when people was like first believing in Jesus, when they was walking with him. And so I'm just gonna say, like, you had to, because like, how the fuck did you start doing music in the 90s and you got 600 albums? I don't know, but they all 1 minute, so maybe, you know, he just did it all in 1 year. I don't know, but I'm just gonna tell you, make sure you tap in with Enoch 7 Prophet. He is also a photographer, videographer, and if you do and you heard it here, make sure you send me my 15%. Again, it's Foxy Roxy on Paranoia Star Seed Podcast. I see my Cash App, so you can make sure you give me my money. And then make sure that y'all remember that collaboration between Sunshine and Enoch would not have happened without me. Yeah, I'm gonna step into my Leo energy and kind of claim y'all if I did it. So yeah. Yep, I am a Leo North Node, so I've been surrounded by Leos to teach me how to stand in that power, because I have Aquarius energy where I just want to give everybody props, but honestly, I did that shit. So anyway, just playing. Again, I love all of y'all. Thank you, Enoch, for joining us here on Seeds of the Sun. I'm wrapping it up. I don't know if Sunshine has some more questions, but you know, I just
yeah, I got noise in the background. You know, it's time for me to eat. Y'all already know what it is.
All right, Enoch, any words for the fans, the new fans?
Only thing I would say is that big up to everybody who's been supporting me since day one. Big up to everyone who is in the chat room right now. Thank y'all so much for tapping in. Big up to Knowledge Born Allah. Thank you once again for having this platform. Definitely appreciate it. Just look out for more dope shit. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Is to just keep your eye on what is going on in music. Keep your eye on what is going on in the world, because the music should reflect the time. It should reflect your time.
Absolutely.
The music that you put out now should reflect your time, not the world's time, but your time. That means where you at in life. It should reflect it. So if you're a dad, some of them rhymes should reflect you being a dad. If you are, you know what I'm saying? If you in this spiritual realm and you're doing this, some of that music should reflect some transparency into what you're doing. So you know, big up to my ancestors, big up to, you know, my grandmother, big up to my grandfather, big up to all those who paved the way before me to do what I'm doing now that they probably couldn't do then. So they just kept that window open for me to do what I want to do now. So yeah, and I'm going to keep this open for my seeds to come through too. So that's the goal. Make this dope music and keep it pumping.
Yes, so keep making that dope music. Kind of make it a little bit longer sometimes, you know. Also, Enoch will be back. You know what? I'm gonna step into my Leo for real. Enoch will be back with us on Wednesday. He will be back with Knowledge Born Allah on the platform. Him and Knowledge will be here 5 o'clock on Wednesday. So make sure y'all tap in. Paranoia Starseed Podcast. Y'all Starseeds, I see y'all there. Make sure y'all tap in. I'm gonna be sitting in the audience for once. I'm gonna shut my mouth. I'm gonna be sitting back. I'm gonna be listening. I mean, you know, I ain't gonna shut my mouth and be typing and shit, asking questions. But anyway, make sure y'all tap in on Wednesday. And also, he will be back on our platform real soon on Paranoia Starseed Podcast. Make sure you watch out for that. And if y'all don't know, the dope ass producer over there on my platform is Enoch 7 Prophet. So thank you. Thank you for making sure shit runs smoothly over there. Again, he is a man who wears many hats, as he should, as a generator. We talk about that human design over there on Pornoise RC podcast. Gotta plug it. But yes, he is a generator. We got a generator, manifestor, and a projector in the building. I think we did a hell of a job tonight. Thank you all for being here. And that's it for me, y'all. Peace.
Peace. Blah, 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 blah.
You go.
Nostalgia.
Hey, Kane, you ready to go to sleep?
Can you read me a best life story first? Because I like staying up for me.
You gotta get your rest though.
Yeah,
Story?
Yes, please.
All right, what you got in mind?
How about this story? I haven't read it at all, but can you?
Let me see. Tarot. True animations, reading our tales. Okay. By Ka Zodiac. Let's see.
Spirals in the air when you breathe and exhale. From Aries to Ram to Libra to Scale. Each card is a page as the secrets unveil. These are true animations, reading our tales. Spirals in the air when you breathe and exhale. From Aries to Ram to Libra to Scale. Each card is a page as the secrets unveil. These are true animations, reading our tales. Zodiac got through the lightning in the tower card. Our story started with a fool who was a vagabond, dressed in rags, nothing but a stick that was a magic wand. Headdress with feathers, he suffered from amnesia, so we watered like a gypsy while puffing on plant reefer. Just trying to fit each piece of the puzzle like Pangea. Key to open depths that were hidden, where he met the magician, hat brim, infinity shape, trained metaphysician. He gave a premonition, helped him with the struggle, extended his hand and gave his overboard his belt buckle. Next he met the high priestess who gave him telekinesis. Moon below her toes, UFO in the Venus glyph. Beam me to the Empress, crowned with 12 stars in it. One for each sign of the zodiac opulence, joined by the emperor whose roar made the heavens shake. The emperor ram's horns in the letter shape, dressed in red Mars upon his head, let it resonate. Images replaced by four Moors like our former glory. Great performer, listen closely if you want the story. Next came the hieroglyphic phantom of the optimist, primer the Indian, hierophant astrologist. Throwing up the sign of peace, gave him wisdom, sent him straight to Eden, but the time was brief for even in the blind belief. Sleeping Beauty lover's card, rode off in the chariot. Canopy of heaven, two sphinxes trained to carry it. Signs in his brain with the reins to a justice. Ruler king measured on the scales for the justice. Hermit at the mountaintop, standing at the cuspice. Lancing with the star, David shot it in his one fist. Who spun the wheel of force and blindfolded with a sun disc. With strength to hang the man who was a bat like getting gun fist. Who legs were crossed like Jupiter's, death remained among myth. Skeleton upon the horse, reaper in the psychic flames. Ghost rider speaking prediction before the cycle came. Next he came to a river and saw a vision. An angel with two cups in her hands for temperature to cool the hot-headed, and viewed the exorcism 1 foot in water. 1 foot on the land like noble Jew, Pope a caterpillar, books in the sand. Forming spirits back in bodies till they couldn't expand. Bartender of the breath of man, chalice of the body. Tempted by the devil, bad for Mephistopheles. Offered fame but lost his name, inheritance and property. Now we reached the beginning, but it tarot the tower. Climb the spiral staircase, coming counter the flower. Human body, stellar dweller, Kabbalatry. Struck by Zig Zodiac bolts that made the robbers flee. Jumping from the windows, shocking revelation. 9/11, spinal resin, cosmic elevation. Beneath the sun, moon, and stars, he watched the set awaken. The council of the 7 lights above him like a Sagan, making wishes from the dragon that exists for the occasion. Probabilific, everlasting words written in the flames of Mayan mystic spell casting. Mr. Wisdom spells Latin. rotary, notary, rotor wheel spoke to me. Torah turn over Taurus, Torah in the rotor tree. Ring around the rosary, Aries in the ovaries. Rosemary's baby still buried in the coat you see. All the book of life stories written in the card deck. Fishing with a large net, how distant can the stars get? It's so close like I'm sitting in the star jet. Dollars worth more than gold is in ignorance and large debt. Vision how the bonds met, miracle in bronze flesh. Did you see the tale that is written in your arms? Yo, spirals in the air when you breathe and exhale. From Aries to Ram to Libra to scale. Each card is a page as the secrets unveil. These are true animations, reading our tales. Spirals in the air when you breathe and exhale. From Aries to Ram to Libra to scale. Each card is a page as the secrets unveil. These are true animations, reading our tale.
Well, it's time for me to go to bed.